Okay, wonderful. All right. So,
Before you proceed, you were about to discuss the 18 transcendental letters.
yes, thank you for reminding me. So, actually, it's called Gopal Mantra, and it goes something like Klim Krishnaya Govinda Gopijan Vallabhai Namah. So, that's the mantra. It's called Gopal Mantra. It's the 18th syllable. And as you can see in the explanation, it talks about that it refers to Gopijan Vallabh as the loving object of the gopis of Vrindavan. It talks about Govinda, which is the Sambandh deity, establishing the relationship between the devotee and the Lord, and talks about Krishna, which is Madan Mohan himself. Sorry, I didn't say it right. Krishna is Madan Mohan, who establishes the relationship between the devotee and the Lord. And Govinda is the deity of Abhidev, which is the process of devotional service. So that's your 18 syllable mantra that we talked about. Thank you for reminding me, Ruchira. I appreciate that. Any other questions?
Also, Prabhuji, I have one more question in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody is doing bhakti. Someone is doing bhakti through Radha Krishna idol. Someone is just worshipping Radha Krishna in mind. Someone is worshipping the frame. So,
sorry, this background noise coming from somebody's. If you're not speaking, please mute yourself. Okay, Ruchira, go ahead, please.
So it's my kids actually.
Oh, okay, no problem. Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
So I was saying, basically it is about bhav, because you were telling us that all our offerings and all our service goes automatically offered to Lakshmi Narayan, not Radha Krishna, because we have not reached that level yet. We can't understand that level of bhakti.
Okay.
So it means what Mirabai was doing, she had, of course, had a higher bhav. That's why she was offering her love for Krishna, and then Krishna accepted her in the end.
Okay.
So in Vrindavan, what we see is many Mataji have taken Ladu Gopal and they consider them as their son, and they're carrying them while buying vegetables outside in the park. I mean, I don't know, but are they unaware of what devotion is, or are they on a higher stage? So what kind of...
I don't know. It depends. I don't know them. Depends upon who they are. What I can say is that a number of people whom I know who carry a deity of the Dugopal in their, basically on their neck or in their basket or something, it's not recommended. You have to be a certain level to start treating Krishna as your son. Vatsalya Bhav. Right now, we are simply Dasya Bhav. Nothing more than that. We're struggling even in that. So the people I know who carry it, I can speak for them that no, they're not at that level. It's not recommended. People you're talking about, I have no idea, Mataji. I don't know what their bhav is. I don't know what level they are. So I can't say.
So Prabhuji, eventually from Dasya Bhav, you move on to a higher level of Bhav where you start considering Krishna as very personal and close to you, and you develop some kind of...
No, Mataji, I'm glad you're asking this question, but this is a real misconception. When we talk about Lord Chaitanya and Raman Rai discussing this 5 mellows, and he does talk about Madhurya Ras is the highest one. It doesn't mean that we all have to progress towards that. It depends upon our Swarupa. For example, I'll give an example of a very exalted devotee, the spiritual master of Lord Chaitanya, Madhavendra Puri. His Swarupa is a tree in Golok Vrindavan. So in Vrindavan is serving Shantaras and he's very happy doing that. Right? There are many trees, rivers, birds that appeared in Vrindavan belong with Krishna. They're all devotees in Shantaras. They're very happy doing that. They have no desire to move above that. So similarly, it depends upon our Swarupa, which we don't know what it is. But if our Swarupa is Das, then we are Das. And don't forget, Lord Chaitanya said, we are dasanudasa, with the servant of the servant of the servant. That is our role. So be happy with that. If your Swarup is something more, fine. We don't know what it is. But generally speaking, whatever mellow you are in, that's fine.
So
Just
the bhav
Madhurya.
is the best. Is the
Sorry?
good. Dasa bhav is the best you can.
No, that's what I'm saying. Don't go for best, better, worse. In the spiritual world, those terms don't exist. We shouldn't use them. Whatever your Swarup is, that's the best for you. Right? That's about Shantaras or it's Vatsal, whatever it is, that's the best for you. Like, for example, Mother Yashoda, about whom we know so much in Vatsal Ras, she'll never want to, quote unquote, get promoted to Madhurya Ras. She'll never want to do that. Right?
Yes.
So it's not a question of this is higher, therefore I need to get there. It's not that. Does that make sense, Mataji?
Yeah, I mean, I've understood, like, howsoever you want to accept Krishna in your life, it's up to you.
Well, that's right. It depends upon your Swarup. Right now, not knowing our Swarup is simply eternal servants of Krishna. And our goal is to go through our Guru. And we don't have Guru, then Srila Prabhupada, serve Krishna that way.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay?
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
But I'm glad you asked that question because a lot of people are confused about that. It's our conditioning in the material world. Better means better. It's not like that.
Okay, Prabhuji, yes.
Okay, all right. So then let's start with text. Unless there are any other questions, let's start with text 20. And let me see if I can get online version here. Just a second. Okay. All right. So everybody has it open, text 20?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. All right. So we're going to read this. Granther Arambhakari Mangalacharan Guru Vaishnav Bhagavan Tiner Smarana. Translation. In the beginning of this narration, simply by remembering the spiritual master, the devotees of the Lord, and the personality of Godhead, I have invoked their benediction. So you may recall the very first verse that we did, it talked about the gurus, different gurus, talked about the Lord, it talked about the expansion of the Lord, and it talked about the energy of the Lord, and it talked about devotee of the Lord. So it's now saying that that's what I did in the beginning of this chapter. I remembered the spiritual master, the devotees of the Lord, which is like Gadadhar Pandit, Shivas Pandit, and the personality of God, which is Krishna himself, Lord Chaitanya, and I've invoked their benediction. So we have asked for their benediction. Okay, next one. Tineri smarana hoy vigna vinashan anayase hoy nij vanchit puran. Such remembrance destroys all difficulties and very easily enables one to fulfill his own desires. So again, by remembering our Guru, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, Advaitacharya, Gadadhar Pandit, Shivasacharya, by simply remembering, we can destroy any difficulties we have and fulfill our own desires. So basically, they will remove the obstacles. What's really difficult, they'll make it easy if you simply remember them first thing in the morning. Okay. 22. Se mangala charana hoy trividh prakar vastu nirdesh ashirvad namaskar. So the invocation was 3 processes. Defining the objective, so basically objective of the book, offering benedictions, and offering obeisances. That's the purpose of any Mangalachara. We talked about that in Nectar of Devotion. Now we're talking about this, and we'll explain that in the next few verses. 23. Pratham dui shlok ishta dev namaskar samanya vishesh rupe duita prakar. So I hope you remember the first 2 verses that we did. There were obeisances offered to the Lord, first in a general way, and then to the specific way. Specific ways will then naming the Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, Advaita Acharya, etc. Okay. So I'm just going to go fast because this we have already done all this. This is being repeated for our benefit. 24. द्वितीय श्लोकेते करी वस्तुर निर्देश जहा होते जानी पर तत्वेर उद्देश. In the third verse, I indicate the absolute truth, who is the ultimate substance. With such a description, one can visualize the supreme truth. So talked about who the absolute truth is, talked about Krishna being that truth in the third verse. चतुर्थ श्लोकेते करी जगते आशीर्वाद सर्वत्र मांगिए कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रसाद. The fourth verse, I have invoked the benediction of the Lord upon all the world, praying to Lord Chaitanya for his mercy upon all. So, I mean, these verses we have covered already. It's just reminding what he has done so far. 26. शेष श्लोके कही बाह्य अवतार कारण पंचशस्त्र श्लोके कही मूल प्रयोजन. So in that verse, I also explained the external reason for Lord Chaitanya's incarnation, why he appeared, external reason, and then in the 5th and 6th, explain the internal or the prime reason for his appearance. So hopefully you all remember all that. That's sounding familiar. I'm not explaining this thing because we have spent a lot of time explaining these verses in the past. H है श्लोके कही चैतन्य रे तत्व आर पंच श्लोके नित्यानंदे रे महत्व. So he's saying verses 1 to 6, we talked about the essential truth of the tattva of Lord Chaitanya. And the next 5, 7 through 11, we talked about the tattva or mahatva of Lord Nityananda. In these 6 verses, I've described the truth about Lord Chaitanya, whereas in the next 5, I've described the glory of Lord Nityananda. So we did all that already. आर श्लोके अद्वैत तत्वाख्यान आर एक श्लोके पंच तत्वेर व्याख्यान. So 12 and 13 talked about Advaita Acharya. The 14 talked about the Panch Tattva. You may remember Panch Tattva to come Krishna, Surupakam. How did it go?
Panchatattvamakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhakta Avtaram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shukram.
Thank you. Bhakta Avtaram. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we talked about all that. Verse number 14. So, each of the shloke kari mangala charan tahi madhya kahi sab vastu nirupan. So, these 14 verses therefore offer auspicious invocations that describe the supreme truth. So, the main topic is the Lord. This is what the whole book is about. So, that's the vastu nirdesh. Why are we writing this book? Being explained here. Okay. सब श्रोता वैष्णव करी नमस्कार यही सब श्लोके करी अर्थ विचार. I offer my obeisances unto all my Vaishnava readers as I begin to explain the intricacies of all these verses. So he's offering obeisances to all the people who are reading these verses, this book. 31. Sakala Vaishnava Suni Karya Ek Man Chaitanya Krishnera Shastra Mat Nirupan. I request all my Vaishnava readers to read and hear with rapt attention this narration of Sri Krishna Chaitanya as inculcated in the revealed scriptures. Purport: Lord Chaitanya is the absolute truth, Krishna himself. This is substantiated by evidence from the authentic spiritual scriptures. Sometimes people accept a man as God on the basis of their whimsical sentiments and without reference to the revealed scriptures. But the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita proves all his statements by citing the Shastras. Thus establishes that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So a number of points here. The first is Chaitanya Charitamrita is not a novel. So you can't be absent-minded and read or hear this. You can't be thinking of something else. You cannot be multitasking. This requires attention. This requires concentration. The word being used is rapt attention, like really, really focusing on what we're hearing. So that's one point. The second point is it's not something that Krishnadas Kaviraj just made up. It's not a story he's writing. It's not fiction. This is all the truth. And because of that reason, you'll find that throughout this book, Krishnadas Kaviraj gives many proofs by citing the verse, the different books. He'll cite Srimad Bhagavatam, he'll cite the Puranas, he'll cite the Upanishads, he'll cite books written by other acharyas like Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, a lot of quotations from Nectar of Devotion, and so on and so forth. So this is all substantiated by proper scriptures, not something you wrote. It's not fiction. Okay. Number 32. Krishna Guru Bhakta Shakti Avatar Prakash Krishna A Chaya Rupe Karen Vilas. So this again goes back to the very first verse we did, where it talks about Krishna manifesting himself as the Guru or the Gurun is spiritual masters, Bhakta, the devotees, the diverse energies, the internal potency in the form of the Pandit, the incarnations, the reference to Advaita Acharya, and the plenary portion reference to Lord Nityananda. They're all 6 in one. They're non-different, but the 6 features of the absolute truth that are defined or described in this particular book. 33. Each hai tattvera kari charana bandhan, prathame sa manya kari mangala charan. So once again, I therefore worship the lotus feet of the 6 diversities of the one truth by invoking their benediction. So again, emphasizing the point that all these 6 are one. They're all features of Lord Krishna, the absolute truth. And he's invoking their benedictions upon us and upon him. Text 34. Mande Gurun Ish Bhaktan, Isham Ishvavatarkan, Tat Prakashanscha Tat Shakti, Krishna Chaitanya Sangyakam. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the spiritual masters, the devotees of the Lord's incarnations, his plenary portions, his energies, and the primeval Lord himself, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. So once again, same thing as previous verse. He's offering obeisances to all 6 features of Lord Krishna or Lord Chaitanya. In the purport, Prabhupada says, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has composed this Sanskrit verse for the beginning of his book, and now he will explain it in detail. He offers his respectful obeisances to the 6 principles of the absolute truth. Gurun is plural in number because anyone who gives spiritual instructions based on the revealed scriptures is accepted as a spiritual master. Although others give help in showing the way to the beginners, the Guru who first initiates one with the Mahamantra is to be known as the initiator. And the saints who give instructions for progressive advancement in Krishna consciousness are called instructing spiritual masters. So it's talking about Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru. The initiating Diksha Guru and instructing spiritual masters, Shiksha Gurus, are equal and identical manifestations of Krishna, although they have different dealings. How they deal with the person is different, but they both are manifestation of Krishna. And this is why the last class we did, talking about and Shiksha Guru has to be at the same level as Diksha Guru. Somebody junior or disciple cannot be Diksha Guru, Shiksha Guru. And the term used in ISKCON is Shiksha monitor or instructing monitor. Their function is to guide the conditioned souls back home, back to Godhead. So they both do the same work, but still there's difference. Therefore, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami accepted Nityananda Prabhu and the 6 Goswamis in the category of Guru. And later on, he'll explain that Nityananda Prabhu is the Diksha Guru for Krishnadas Kaviraj, and the 6 Goswamis are Shiksha Guru for Krishnadas Kaviraj. Okay. Ish Bhaktan refers to the devotees of the Lord. Ish means Lord, Bhakta means devotees. Like Shivas and all others as follows. So Bhakta, Shivas in the Panchatattva, Shivas is the Bhakta, who are the energy of the Lord. So that's basically the external energy, but manifested as a devotee, and are qualitatively non-different from him being Krishna. Ishvavatarkan refers to acharyas. So Isha Avatar refers to acharyas like Advaita Prabhu. So he's the incarnation of Krishna, combination of Sadashiv and Mahavishnu, who's an avatar of the Lord. Tat Prakashan indicates the direct manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that is Nityananda Prabhu, who's none other than Balaram. Brajendra Nandan Jai, Shachisut Halsai, Balaram Hel Nitai. So Lord Balaram comes as Nityanand, and Balaram is the first or immediate expansion of Lord Krishna. Non-different, except in the color and the mood. Mood is servitorship, color is white, as opposed to Krishna, where the color is blue or black, and the mood is master. Ekala Ishwar Krishna or Sambrita. Krishna is the only master. Everybody, including Lord Balaram, down to all other incarnations, have the mood of servant of Krishna, even though they're non-different. That Shakti refers to the spiritual energies, the internal potency basically of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is Gadadhar Pandit, also Damodar and Jagdanand. Damodar Pandit was Lalita Sakhi, and Jagdanand was Satyabhama. So belong to this category of internal energy. The six principles are differently manifested, but all equally worshipable. Yeah. So don't try to distinguish between one or the other. That's a big offense. Krishnadas Kaviraj begins by offering his obeisances unto them to teach us the method of worshipping Lord Chaitanya. The external potency of Godhead, called Maya, can never associate with the Lord, just as darkness cannot remain in the presence of light. Krishna Surya Sam, Maya Andhakar, Jaha Krishna Taha Nahi, Maya Adhikar. Krishna is like the sun. Wherever Krishna as the sun is, darkness of Maya cannot be there. Avidya does not remain wherever Krishna is present. The darkness being but an illusory and temporary covering of light has no existence independent of light. So darkness is simply absence of light. It doesn't have any independent existence, which means avidya is simply absence of vidya, the knowledge, the right knowledge. So again, two main points. One is that all the six principles, starting from Guru to the Lord, to the incarnation of the Lord, to the expansion of the Lord, to the internal energy of the Lord, to the devotee of the Lord, they're all same, non-different. So we should not distinguish between them, although it's different manifestations, but they're same and they're equally worshipable. And the second point is that wherever Lord Chaitanya is, Panchtattvas are, there is no effect of Maya. It cannot exist. So I'm going to pause because I went through many verses very quickly to see if there are any questions or confusion or comments or realizations, whatever. Anyone? Okay, so it's so clear, or did I go too fast?
Pitashri.
Anandimukhi.
Pitashri, I want to ask you, ki Siksha Guru and Diksha Guru, no difference, right?
Okay, go ahead. Finish your question.
No, just my question is, what is the difference, Siksha Guru and Diksha Guru?
So the difference is that Diksha Guru will initiate you in the mantra, the holy name of the Lord, and he is the one who connects you to Krishna. So Shiksha Guru can, for example, a silly example, but let me explain it. Suppose you are a lamp. Shiksha Guru will bring the plug of the lamp very close to the socket on the wall. But that's it. Diksha Guru will plug it in. So now, through Diksha Guru, you are connected to the parampara. Shiksha Guru does not connect you to parampara. He gives you a guidance, advice, shows you the way to Krishna, but does not connect you. That power goes only to the Diksha Guru. Because Diksha Guru is representative of Lord Balaram as well as Radharani. So as Lord Balaram, he removes the obstacles, like removing the anarthas, etc. And as Radharani's representative, he connects you to Krishna, the parampara, to parampara. Shiksha Guru does not do those things. They simply guide.
Okay, Pitashri, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Usha, you have your hand raised.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Haan, bolo.
So, these Panchtattvas and their reincarnation, do you have any chart representing them? Because I can't remember which one
Can't
was
remember
which.
Panchtattvas? You must have a picture of Panchtattvas.
I have a Panchtattva, but who are they the reincarnation of whom? Like you said, Satyabhama, So
No.
I don't
So
know the
don't
further
no.
categories.
Don't mix up Satyabhama and Lalita. They were just
Lalita.
samples of another, but Panchtattva is not them. So
Yeah.
anybody wants to tell me who are Panchtattvas? Tell me who are Panchtattvas.
Radharani.
No. Just the names of Panchtattvas. The picture that you see. Who are those 5 people? The names of those 5 people.
5 people.
So first one is Lord
The
Chaitanya.
first one is Lord Chaitanya.
Who's the second one?
Second one is Nityananda.
Right. Who's third one?
Gadadhar.
Advaitacharya.
Srivas.
Bhaktaptal.
So Advaitacharya, Gadadhar Pandit, and Srivasacharya.
Srivasacharya.
So those are the Panchtattvas.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your question now?
Then who are their further incarnation?
Okay. So that's what we covered in the first 4 verses. I'll tell you again. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself.
Yes. Those I know.
Nityananda is Balaram, expansion of
Balaram.
Krishna.
Yeah.
Advaitacharya is an incarnation, combined incarnation of Mahavishnu and Sadashiv. Okay. Gadadhar Pandit is incarnation of Radharani. Srivas Pandit is incarnation of Narad Muni.
Narad Muni. Yeah. And are there further?
No, that's it.
No. So I think I mixed up with the.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay. Sorry, Prabhu.
No, don't be sorry. Good question.
Thank you, Prabhu.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Okay, all right, then we'll keep going. So let me just get to the screen. Okay, so text 35. Mant Guru Arjat Shiksha Guru Gan Tahara Charana Age Kariye Bandhan. I first offer my respectful obeisances at the lotus feet of my initiating spiritual master and all my instructing spiritual master. So here's the order. The priority is initiating a spiritual master is top. And then all the Shiksha Gurus. So Diksha Guru comes first and the Shiksha Gurus. And I'll come back to this point. Let me finish the purport. I'll come back to this point. Srila Jiva purport. Srila Jiva Goswami.
Sorry, Prabhu. Do you want me to read? Like you've been reading all
Go ahead.
of that.
Sure, go ahead.
Can I, Prabhu?
Please go ahead.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Sure.
Srila Jiva Goswami, in his thesis Bhakti Sandarbha 202, has stated that uncontaminated devotional service is the objective of pure Vaishnavas, and that one has to execute such service in the association of other devotees. By associating with devotees of Lord Krishna, one develops a sense of Krishna consciousness and thus becomes inclined toward the loving service of the Lord. This is the process of approaching the Supreme Lord by gradual appreciation in devotional service. If one desires unalloyed devotional service, one must associate with the devotees of Sri Krishna, for by such association only can a conditioned soul achieve a taste for transcendental love and thus revive his eternal relationship with Godhead in a specific manifestation and in terms of specific transcendental mellow, rasa, that one has eternally inherent in him.
Yeah, thank you.
If one,
Mataji, let's explain this first.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So some very, very important points are being made here. Srila Prabhupada is referring to the book Bhakti Sandarbha by Jiva Goswami, where he states that the uncontaminated being pure, unalloyed devotional service is the objective of pure Vaishnavas. And uncontaminated, unalloyed, pure devotional service, simply pure love of Krishna without any material motivation. So that has been explained in Nectar of Devotion. We read that some time ago, which says, Anya abhilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavritam anukulyana krishnanushilanam bhakti uttama. Pure devotional service is something which has no material desires or any other desire for that matter, except to please Krishna. The only desire in the heart of a pure devotee is to please Krishna. And he doesn't take a shelter of Jnana Kand or Karma Kand. Because by Karma Kand and Jnana Kand, you can never achieve Krishna. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 18:55, Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati. Only through the process of devotional service can you know me. My tattva you can know only by that. So here it's saying that pure devotees are devoid of any material desires or any kind of desires other than to please Krishna. And they don't take shelter of Jnana Kand, Karma Kand, simply Bhakti Kand, Ananda Kand. Second point being made is that pure devotional service must be executed in the association of other devotees. By associating with devotees of Lord Krishna, one develops a sense of Krishna consciousness and thus becomes inclined toward the loving service of the Lord. So I want to explain this very important point here. Associating with the devotees is not that sit down and gossip about the world. Associating with the devotee is serving each other. So the verse chapter 10 text 9 says mat chitta madgat prana bodhiyantas parasparam. Sorry, there's a question. Bodhiyantas parasparam. Katyantas samam nitya dushyanti cha ramanti cha. So when it says bodhiyantas parasparam, discussing Krishna Katha with each other, that is service. You're not doing this to gossip. You're not doing this to have, some mundane kind of fun. This is serving each other. And of course, there are other ways to serve devotees, but serving devotees is considered training to serve Krishna. I want to repeat that point. By serving the devotees of Krishna, we are learning how to serve Krishna. So therefore, when we make mistakes, we do some trial and error, we learn from our mistakes, we improve. That's all getting trained to serve Krishna. And some of you may know that the final training of a pure devotee comes from where? Anybody knows? Which is that one final training before you go to Golok Vrindavan?
Spiritual master service.
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
That's all part of the training. The final... Sorry?
Right before death, when we have to remember Krishna?
No.
Is that the final exam you're talking about?
No. I'm talking about actual service, being trained.
Yes.
Ashok Prabhu, go ahead.
Yes, so before one goes back to spiritual world, he takes a birth where Krishna is doing his pastimes in the material world, right? And
Very
then
good.
he
Yeah, absolutely right. The last birth before somebody gets promoted to Golok Vrindavan is in wherever that Vrindavan is, where Krishna is having pastimes. They appear as son of a gopi or daughter of a gopi. They get the final training and then they go. So here's the point being made here, that the association of the devotee increases of Krishna consciousness means we're getting more trained in how to serve Krishna for Krishna's pleasure. Krishna consciousness simply means serving Krishna for Krishna's pleasure. Otherwise, it's mundane consciousness. It's self gratification and all those kind of things. Is that point clear? It's a very, very important point being made here.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji.
Sure.
Big enlightenment. You mean one is transported to such a universe which has just started, and maybe that person, that yuga is in still Treta Yuga or along
No.
No?
Krishna appears as always Dwapar Yuga, wherever it is.
Okay.
Okay. So wherever Krishna is appearing for his pastime, he appears there. He or she.
Okay. Interesting. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's read. This is the process of approaching the Supreme Lord by gradual appreciation in devotional service. That's the whole training part. Slowly you're learning, do better and better and better. Again, being repeated, if one desires unalloyed devotional service, one must associate with the devotees of the Lord, of Sri Krishna. For by such association only a conditioned soul achieve a taste for transcendental love. Right? And you can also go back to the verse Ado Shraddha Tato Sadhu Sang Atha Bhajan Kriya. So doing Bhajan Kriya in the association of sadhus. And then you get Nishtha, and then you get Ruchi, the taste. Okay, the 10 steps towards the pure love of Krishna. And thus revives eternal relationship with the Godhead in a specific manifestation and in terms of the specific transcendental mellow that one has eternally inherent in it. So at this point in time, the Swarupa is revealed to the devotee. When Swarupa is revealed, then the mellow is also revealed. So now they know which of the 5 mellows and in what form they're serving Krishna. And that comes to the actual inclination, all those kind of things, but it's slowly revealed to the devotee as they become pure devotees. So once again, I'm going to pause.
प्रभु जी कहाँ कौन से लाइन से बोल रहे हो?
माता जी हम बोल रहे हैं वर्स नंबर 35 और पहला पैराग्राफ परपोर्ट का लास्ट लाइन.
अच्छा.
प्रभु जी
The specific transcendental mellow.
Right.
That one has returned.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Ruchira, go ahead.
Yes. Just a quick question on the revelations you just mentioned. So Krishna starts revealing as and when you progress in devotional service. So revelations happen through knowing more about him. Maybe you start watching more of Katha, listening to Bhagavatam class, and you'll get more association of devotees. Or maybe you enroll yourself like we have enrolled ourselves in Lord Chaitanya Charitamrita classes like that. So does it mean that Krishna is somewhere happy and trying to bring us closer to him and revealing? This is what revelations mean, right?
Well, it means more than that, but you're making a very good point. And that is, Krishna is pleased with us somehow. That is why we are having this discussion. Otherwise, we won't. Simple as that. Krishna is pleased with us somehow. That's why we do any kind of service. Any kind of service. Krishna is pleased with us somehow. That's why we remember him.
Okay, Prabhuji. Yes, that's it.
Yeah, okay. And the more he gets pleased, the more he reveals about himself also. And finally, he reveals our Swarupa.
Prabhuji, this revelation of Swarupa is also known as Siddha-Deha, right?
Yes, correct. Siddha-Deha is Swarupa.
Is Swarupa, yes.
That's another word for Swarupa.
So this happens from within, or it happens through the medium of Guru?
Well, yeah, Krishna through the medium of Guru will reveal that.
Okay.
Right? But there are some gurus who claim that come to me and chant your first round and I'll reveal your Swarupa. That is bogus. Srila Prabhupada never agreed with that.
Right.
Not that easy.
Prabhuji, one more quick question. You always say you should listen Bhagavatam in the presence of a pure devotee.
No.
That's possible.
No, not pure devotee, a devotee. Pure devotee is better, but you really find pure devotee all the time.
I have read it multiple times in the text when you read and when you hear it from a devotee. So yeah, again, finding a pure devotee is next to impossible. First of all,
No, not next to impossible, but it's hard.
Hard, yeah. Sorry for the wrong word, but so
Okay.
it's okay if we watch the pure devotees videos of Bhagavatam, and then that is also association, right?
Sure it is. It's not the same, but it is association.
Okay.
It's like, for example, you go to a class, you listen to it live, or you listen to the recording. It's just not the same thing, although words are exactly the same. Something is missing.
Listen to Prabhupada's commentary.
Yes, you can, and you should.
That is the best pure devotee. He's the best pure.
Yeah,
So,
sure it is.
Like nowadays, there are so many videos on YouTube of Radhanath Swamiji and so many senior devotees.
Correct.
So I don't have time to go to temple and sit with someone. So we can do it this way also, right?
You can, sure.
Okay, Prabhuji.
All right. Anybody else?
Prabhu, what is the exact meaning of Sarupa in English?
The
Reflection.
Just give me 1 second. The true identity. There's another term also. the original, the original identity.
So Krishna will reveal his original identity
Or
or
pardon,
our
no,
own identity?
your.
Mine.
He will his also and yours.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let's go to the next paragraph.
I can read it.
Go ahead.
If one develops love for Krishna by Krishna conscious activities, one can know the supreme absolute truth. But he who tries to understand God simply by logical arguments will not succeed, nor will he get a taste for unalloyed devotion. The secret is that one must submissively listen to those who know perfectly the science of God, and one must begin the mode of service regulated by the preceptor. A devotee already attracted by the name, form, qualities, etc. of the Supreme Lord may be directed to his specific manner of devotional service. He need not waste time in approaching the Lord through logic. The expert spiritual master knows well how to engage his disciples' energy in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, and thus he engages a devotee in a specific devotional service according to his special tendency. A devotee must have only one initiating spiritual master because in the scriptures, acceptance of more than one is always forbidden. There is no limit, however, to the number of instructing spiritual masters one may accept. Generally, a spiritual master who constantly instructs a disciple in spiritual science becomes his initiating spiritual master later on.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
So once again, actually, Usha, you had asked a question that's being answered here.
Mm.
That as we develop love for Krishna by performing Krishna conscious activities, Krishna reveals himself as well as our constitutional position, inherent identity or true identity, which is Siddha Swarup, to us. But it cannot be done through the process of logical arguments or the jnana and karma that we're talking about. It cannot happen, and nor would these arguments and logic and all that will give you any taste for the pure devotional service. That only comes from devotional service. And the secret is that one must submissively listen to those who know perfectly the science of God. And one must begin the mode of service regulated by the preceptor. Does anybody know what preceptor means? Okay, preceptor means teacher or instructor. So, but basically the point being made here is that the secret is that one must submissively listen to those who know perfectly the science of God. So, Bhagavad Gita text, chapter 4, text 34, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevya. Updekshati te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshana. So, Lord Krishna is saying that first of all, pranipatena. Pranipatena means total surrender. Surrender to the Guru. Pariprashnena sevya. Ask questions and serve. Serving the spiritual master is by following all the instructions of the spiritual master. As Arjun said in 1873, Karishye vachanam tava. That's the final point being made in Bhagavad Gita. Arjun is saying, I will follow all your instructions, no questions asked. If you ask me to jump, I will not ask how high. I'll just jump. I will not ask you why. I'll just jump. And that is what we talk about here. Second point being made here is that, another verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, text 3, chapter 3, text 21, is Tasmad Gurum Prapadyat Jigyasyu Shreya Uttamam. Again, we must first surrender. Prapadyat, must surrender. And then we should ask, be inquisitive about what's Shreya. Shreya basically means what's good for us in the long term. In the context of today's discussion, Shreya means what can I do that will please Krishna? That's Shreya for us. So by submissively listening to those who know the science of God, perfectly know, and serving them. And serving how? The service regulated by the instructor or preceptor. Do the service the spiritual master has asked you to do. Not that he says, do this. You say, no, I don't like this. Can I do this? That doesn't work. So whatever it is, as it is, you do what the scriptures say. Third point, that there's a verse in Shvetashvatar Upanishad which says, Yas deve parabhakti, jatha deve tatha guru. Tasat karta hi artha prakashante mahatmana. We should have the same degree of faith in our spiritual master as we have in Krishna. We should serve our guru as we serve Krishna. We should treat our guru as a manifestation, a representative, a true representative of Krishna. So a devotee who has the same degree of devotion and faith in his guru as in Krishna, to him the guru will reveal all the scriptures, the meaning or purport of all the scriptures, which includes the identity of the Lord and identity of the person, the Siddha Swarupa of the person as well. So that's the second point being made. The third point being made is a devotee already attracted by the name, form, qualities, etc. So one is already attracted, may be directed to a specific manner of devotion. That's again Siddha Swarupa. So your Siddha Swarupa is to be the parent. Then you'll be directed to act as the parent of the Lord, not otherwise. Or Madhuri Ras, or Dasa, whatever. That is, the direction comes for the specific devotional service they should do. He need not waste time in approaching the Lord through logic. So again, big point made. Don't try to use logic. Don't do any, arguments. Just simply beg. That's how the Lord works. That's how the spiritual master works. The expert spiritual master knows well how to engage his disciples' energy in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. And thus he engages a devotee in a specific devotional service according to his special tendency. So the word that Prabhupada uses, proclivity. What is the proclivity of the disciple? And we engage him accordingly. So the interest would be there, the skill would be there, the heart would be there, and the disciple will perform well. So if somebody likes book distribution, somebody likes cooking, somebody likes deity worship, somebody likes preaching, somebody likes cleaning, menial service, whatever, the guru knows and engages the disciple according to their proclivity in the service that they learn. And that is the instruction for this disciple. And again, there's no such thing as, oh, he does deity worship, he goes on the altar, does arti, therefore he's better devotee than I am, who's simply sweeping the floor of the temple. No, there's no hierarchy. These are all things devotional or absolute platform. There's no hierarchy. There's no better or worse. There's no higher or lower. Okay. A devotee must have only one initiating spiritual master. So initiating a spiritual master is not cheap. You can't say, let me try you for 6 months. If I don't like you, I'll change. No, this is Janme Janme Prabhu say. Life after life, that's your spiritual master. And those who change their spiritual master for no fault of spiritual master, they're finished. Their spiritual life is finished forever and ever and ever. There's no forgiveness in there. So therefore, know before he takes shelter of his spiritual master, initiation from a spiritual master, know that this is it. It's not like modern day marriage that, I try you for 3 years, didn't work out, I'll divorce and I'll find another one. It doesn't work that way. And certainly when the spiritual master is not at fault, he cannot simply change. And frankly, a true spiritual master will not accept you if he knows that you left your previous spiritual master for no good reason. Will not take you. Okay. Generally, a spiritual master who constantly instructs a disciple in the spiritual science becomes his initiating spiritual master later on. So generally speaking, Shiksha Gurus become Diksha Gurus. Obviously, that's not a rule, and also depends upon who the Shiksha Guru is. But generally speaking, that's what happens. We don't accept a a spiritual master just like that. We listen to their classes, some discussions, we do some question answers. I've talked to the disciples before we agree to accept initiating spiritual master. And that's the point being made here. There was one other point that just came to my mind and I forgot what is
Excuse me, Prabhuji.
हाँ माता जी बोलिए.
ये स्वरूपा क्या होता है?
So for your original identity, who are you originally? Because right now you can't see yourself. You see your gross body. What does your soul look like? What does the soul look like? What is the identity of the soul? Is it a tree? Is it a cow? Is it a dog? Is it a male? Is it a female? Is it a parental mode? Is it mother mode? What is that? That is Swarupa.
सोल की हर एक सोल की डिफरेंट.
हाँ बिल्कुल.
It's not that soul is soul.
No, so it's not soul. So every soul has a different Swarupa.
Thank you.
Now you can have two souls who are cows. That's different. That's not the point. But they're all different. Usha bolo.
So it means once we get to know our true identity, Sarupa, only then we decides what our relationship to Krishna is?
Once again, you don't decide.
Yeah, right?
Original is already established. Today we don't know, so we only act as a servant.
Here we are, yeah.
Tomorrow we may find that no, actually we are in the Vatsal mode. So automatically you'll transfer to Vatsal mode. But today you don't know.
So our true identity is related to the relationship with Krishna?
Correct.
Later on?
Correct. Yeah, correct.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay. Anybody else?
Nani Mukhi Mataji, you got the answer? Yesterday we were discussing.
Yes, Usha. Thank you so much, Pitashri. Same is my question.
Okay. I'm glad.
Thank you, Usha.
Hari bol.
Okay. Let's read the next paragraph then. Somebody wants to read that next, another person?
I can read it, Prabhuji.
Go ahead, Prabhuji, yeah.
One should always remember that a person who is elected to accept a spiritual master and be initiated is sure to be baffled in his endeavor to go back to Godhead. One who is not properly initiated may present himself as a great devotee, but in fact he is sure to encounter many stumbling stones on his path of progress toward spiritual realization, with the result that he must continue his term of material existence without relief. Such a helpless person is compared to a ship without a rudder, for such a ship can never reach its destination. It is imperative, therefore, that one accept a spiritual master if he at all desires to gain a favor of the Lord. The service of the spiritual master is essential. If there is no chance to serve the spiritual master directly, a devotee should serve him by remembering his instructions. There is no difference between the spiritual master's instruction and the spiritual master himself. In his absence, therefore, his words of direction should be the pride of the disciple. If one thinks that he is above consulting anyone else, including a spiritual master, he is at once an offender of the lotus feet of the Lord. Such an offender can never go back to Godhead. It is imperative that a serious person accept a bona fide spiritual master in the term of a Shastric induction. Shri Jiva Goswami advises that one not accept a spiritual master in terms of hereditary or customary, social, and statistical conventions. One should simply try to find a genuinely qualified spiritual master for actual advancement in spiritual understanding. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So another very important point is made, because a lot of times people say, why do I need a guru? I'm chanting nicely, I'm following the 4 regulative principles, I do deity worship, I read all the books. I'm a good person. What's the problem? Well, the problem is, as we were saying before, without a guru, you don't connect to Krishna. You don't connect to your parampara. And therefore, Krishna's instructions don't come to you. You don't establish that lost relationship with Krishna. There's a guru who does that. As a result, Maya, which is always finding an opportunity to put us in illusion, bounces upon us and succeeds because we have no protection. We need protection against Maya. What does Krishna say in chapter 7, text 14? Daivi hi esha gunamai mam maya duratya. Mamev je prapadyante maya etantaratya. Only those who surrender to me are able to overcome the influence of Maya. So, me also implies the spiritual master because there's no me, Krishna, without a spiritual master. Krishna does not accept service unless we are coming through a spiritual master, a bona fide spiritual master. What is the definition of a bona fide spiritual master? It's a spiritual master who's connected through the parampara system to Krishna. Also, Lord Chaitanya says, Charitamrita later on, we'll read that, the Keva Nasi, how does it go? Keva Vipra Keva Nasi Shuddha Keno Noy, Jai Krishna Tattveta, Sai Guru Hai. He says, it's not about being a Brahmin. It's not about being a sannyasi. It's not even about being a Shudra. It doesn't matter. The Varnashram does not matter. What matters is Jai Krishna Tattveta. The person who understands the real truth about Krishna is eligible to become a spiritual master. There's another definition given in Nectar of Instruction. Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jiva Vegam, Udarupastha Vegam. Etan Vegan Yo Vishahed Dhiran, Sarmam Apimam, Pathvim Sasisha. So the person who's able to control all the 6 urges is eligible to make disciples. Right? Canto 11, chapter 3, text 21, Lord Krishna tells Uddhava, who's a spiritual master? He said, Shabde Parecha Nishnatam, Brahmani Upshamashitam. The one who understands the scriptures very, very well, can explain it to anybody, can argue against anybody who's against the scriptures, and who's taken complete surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord. That's why the Guru is also known as Om Namo Vishnupada. Vishnupad means the one who's taken shelter unto the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu. So that's a bona fide spiritual master. So one has to be properly initiated by a bona fide spiritual master. So Diksha Kale Shishya Kare Atma Samarpan. So at the time of Diksha, the right kind of disciple completely surrenders to the spiritual master. It is the spiritual master who then introduces the disciple to Krishna. And the more the disciple serves, the more purely, more sincerely, more eagerly, more enthusiastically a disciple serves the spiritual master, the faster he makes progress because of the support given by the spiritual master. Ekaki amar nahi payabal. Narottam Das Thakur says, I am alone, I am very weak. I don't have any strength to make spiritual progress. It's only by the mercy of a spiritual master that I can make spiritual progress. So very important to accept a bona fide spiritual master. If we don't, there'll be so many stumbling blocks, especially from Maya. We'll fall down, we'll keep falling down. And it'll be very difficult to make progress towards spiritual realization, which is who am I? This is my relationship with Krishna, who is Krishna, and how to love Krishna. Those are all under the category of spiritual realization, and that's very difficult to come there. And therefore, Maya will get us, will continue our material existence without relief. So that famous phrase, Chakki piecing and piecing and piecing, you keep going around and around and around, up and down in the material world. No relief from material existence. Prabhupada says the purport, such a helpless person is like a ship without rudder, because without rudder there's no direction. You cannot direct the ship towards any particular direction. Therefore, you'll never reach the destination. So no Guru, no Krishna. Simple as that. It is imperative, therefore, that one accept a spiritual master if he at all desires to gain the favor of the Lord. If you want Krishna to look at you, you better be under the shelter of a Guru. The service of the spiritual master is essential. The spiritual master is all about being served by the disciple. It's not for gossiping, it's not for exchange of money, it's not for status, it's not for anything else except service. So those people who harass their spiritual master or would-be spiritual master for first or second initiation, they're simply causing problem for themselves. The spiritual master gives you initiation because he's sick and tired of arguing with you, sick and tired of asking you to wait, and you don't want to wait to keep harassing him. He may agree to give a second initiation or first initiation, but the blessings are not there. Blessings are simply not there. So you have the status and nothing else. Similarly, those people who only show off in front of the Guru, look how nicely I'm serving, be present in the presence of the Guru, try to get as close to the Guru as possible, but inside there's nothing the Guru knows. No blessings coming their way. Guru knows what you're doing when the Guru is not there. And that's what counts. Showing him by standing near him or trying to speak to him or trying to tell him what great service you're doing doesn't count for anything. The Guru knows the truth. So the service of the spiritual master is essential. Now, a lot of times our Gurus are not with us. They are different cities, different countries. So what's more important than the physical presence of the Guru is the instructions of the Guru. So you have Vani and you have Vapu. Instructions of the Guru are non-different from the Guru himself. So the whole idea is to learn, understand, and follow the instructions of the Guru. And the best is those disciples who understand the mood of the Guru and follow his instructions without being told what that instruction is. You just know what Guru wants and just do it. That's the best kind of disciple. And Krishna is most pleased with that disciple and reveals himself through the medium of the Guru to that disciple. He says here, if there is no chance to serve the spiritual master directly, a devotee should serve him by remembering his instructions. So if we think we can forget his instructions, not do instructions, just be near him when he's there, forget it. Forget it. Nobody can fool their bona fide spiritual master. It's not possible. We cannot fool Krishna. We cannot fool a bona fide spiritual master. It says here, there's no difference between the spiritual master's instructions and the spiritual master himself. So follow the instructions. If you want to be loved and blessed by your spiritual master, follow their instruction, even in his absence. If one thinks that he's above consulting anyone else, especially a Guru, then he's an offender at the lotus feet of the Lord. How strongly can they say? How more strongly? He's an offender at the feet of the God. Anybody who thinks they don't need their Guru, or they can ignore their Guru, or there's no need for a Guru, the biggest offender. They can never go back to Godhead. And therefore, it is imperative that a serious devotee accept a bona fide spiritual master. But it has to be bona fide spiritual master, not hereditary or customary, somebody's got the title of Swami or whatever. That's not what counts. It has to be bona fide Jai Krishna Tattvaveta, the control of the 6 urges, total, complete understanding of the scriptures, totally surrender to Krishna. That's a bona fide spiritual master. That's whom we need. And we need to work very hard to find such a spiritual master if we want to make actual advancement in the spiritual understanding and move towards the stage of loving Krishna for his pleasure, not ours. So I'm going to pause. This was heavy. So I want to see if there are any questions. Did it make sense, or did I lose you all? Or did I put you to sleep?
No, Prabhu. I have a question.
Okay.
Again. So you said one should have a spiritual master, but what if you are in a process of, deciding, until then, will Krishna will not accept your devotion?
So this is what I was saying earlier. We have in our ISKCON movement, we have Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. So if you don't have a spiritual master, you can go through your Shiksha Guru Srila Prabhupada and, as a temporary measurement, and you can have Krishna accept your service. But you have to be sincerely and seriously be looking for a spiritual master. You cannot make it like, no, Prabhupada is my only guru, there's nobody can be my guru. That doesn't work. As a matter of fact, that's an offense also. Okay?
Right. Thank you, brother.
Sure. Anybody else? Okay, sometimes I wonder if silence means it went through over your head, or too fast, or too heavy, or so I need.
No, Prabhuji, Pranam.
I just move.
Prabhuji, it's heavy. It's this particular purport, gives the entire process that we follow in ISKCON, right from selecting guru and how you submissively you submit him. Without guru, you have no hope of progressing. So it lays out the really principle, and you elaborated giving different references, Prabhuji, so nicely. You are explaining. It's a lot of things to understand. That's what I see. Yeah. Thank you.
So, thank you, bro. Anybody else? Okay, then let's move on to the next verse. In verse 36. Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath. My instructing spiritual masters are Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatan Goswami, Shri Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jeev Gopal Goswami, Shri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and Srila Raghunath Goswami. These are the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. They're all Shiksha Guru of Krishnadas Kaviraj. 37. Each hai Guru Shiksha Guru Je Amar Tasabar Path Pad Mein Koti Namaskar. These 6 are my instructing spiritual masters, Shiksha Gurus, and therefore I offer millions of respectful obeisances unto their lotus feet. Purport. By accepting the 6 Goswamis as instructing spiritual masters, the author specifically makes it clear that one should not be recognized as Gaudiya Vaishnava if he's not obedient to them. Now, this is very heavy too. Look at what it's saying. You're not a Gaudiya Vaishnava if you're not following the instructions of 6 Goswamis. So these 6 Goswamis are very, very important in our movement. They are our Shiksha Gurus. As we know, Sanatan Goswami is our Sambandhacharya. Rupa Goswami is our Avideyacharya. And Raghunath Das Goswami is our Prayojanacharya. So we have to follow them. Jiva Goswami is another one, the 7th one. It's not here. Sorry, I'm sorry. What was I saying? Hold on. Yeah, so Jiva Goswami also written 400,000 verses in his different books. 400,000. Bhagavatam has only 18,000 verses. Just so for comparison, we can see. Bhagavad Gita has only 700 verses. Jiva Goswami wrote 400,000 verses. So a lot of instructions, a lot of messages have been given by the 6 Goswamis, and we have to follow them if we want to call ourselves our Gaudiya Vaishnava. Okay, text 38. Bhagwaner Bhaktajat Shivas Pradhan Tasabar Pad Padme Sahastra Pranam. So now he's talking about Shivas Acharya. There are innumerable devotees of the Lord, of whom Shivas Thakur is the foremost. So Shivas Thakur is the incarnation of, who knows?
Narad Muni Prabhuji.
Narad Muni, correct. So I offer my respectful obeisances thousands of times unto their lotus feet. So all the devotees, but particularly Shivas Thakur, who's one of the Panch Tattvas, is offering obeisances. Text 39. Advaita Acharya Prabhur Ansh Avatar Tar Pada Padmakoti Pranati Amar. Advaita Acharya is the Lord's partial incarnation, and therefore I offer my obeisances millions of times at his lotus feet. So Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of Mahavishnu, who's the incarnation of second Sankarshan, who's the incarnation of second Narayan, who's the incarnation of Lord Balaram, who's the incarnation of or expansion of Lord Krishna. So Advaita is being called the partial incarnation and is offering obeisances millions of times at his lotus feet. Next one, Nityananda Rai. Nityananda Rai Prabhur Swarup Prakash Tar Pada Padmabandho Jar Mui Das. Is saying Srila Nityananda Ram is the plenary manifestation of the Lord. So that's Lord Balaram, and I have been initiated by him. So he is my spiritual master, initiating his spiritual master. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto his lotus feet. Okay. Text 41. Gadadhar Pandit Adi Prabhur Nij Shakti Tasabar Charane Mor Sahastra Pranati. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the internal potencies of the Lord, of whom Shri Gadadhar Prabhu is the foremost. So Gadadhar Pandit is the incarnation of Radharani, but in what mood? Anybody knows what's the mood of Gadadhar Pandit?
In the mood of Chandravan.
Correct. So the difference is Radharani is what you call leftist, in that she gets angry with Krishna, she chastises Krishna, she does what's called man, which is like, come and manao me, that's Radharani. Chandravan is always very submissive. Whatever Krishna says, that's fine. He never gets angry. He doesn't come to her, goes Radharani, she doesn't get angry, simply waits. He teases her, she doesn't get angry, simply waits. So Gadadhar Pandit had the same mood. Even though his expansion of Radharani, Lord Chaitanya used to tease him a lot. Really tease him. And he always just smiled and accepted it. But the mood was Chandravali. Okay. Text 42. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Swayam Bhagavan Tahar Padar Vinde Ananta Pranam. Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the personality of Godhead himself. And therefore I offer innumerable prostrations at his lotus feet. So we all know Lord Chaitanya is Lord Krishna in the mood of Radharani. So it is Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, is offering innumerable obeisances. Text 43. Savarane Prabhure Kariya Namaskar Eichhe Teho Jeche Kariye Vichar. Having offered obeisances unto the Lord and all his associates, I shall now try to explain the 6 diversities in one. There are many unalloyed devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all of whom are considered associates surrounding the Lord. Krishna should be worshipped with his devotees. The diverse principles are therefore the eternal paraphernalia through which the absolute truth can be approached. So basically, Nectar of Devotion says, when you say Krishna, Krishna is not alone Krishna. Krishna is Krishna, Krishna's devotees, Krishna's energies, Krishna's paraphernalia, Krishna's qualities, Krishna's form, Krishna's qualities, form, pastimes, they're all Krishna. So Krishna is never singular, it's always plural. So devotees of Krishna. So we talk about Krishna, we're also referring to the devotees of Krishna. So when we worship Krishna, we're worshipping all of this. Similarly, when we worship his devotees, we're worshiping Krishna. That should be our mode. But they're all diverse principles. But it is through these principles that we can approach Krishna. So again, once again, we cannot directly approach Krishna. We must approach Krishna through his devotees, in particular the spiritual master. Okay, I think I'm going to stop here because now the next topic starts. Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm going to pause here. Any questions or comments? Okay, then you get 8 minutes off. I just gave you 8 minutes. So
This is very interesting. I feel like a very, very interesting book and interesting topics, and the way you explain it is a really excellent way, Prabhuji.
thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Yeah, it's heavy. There's no question about it, but I think we know coming in it's heavy. And this gives an opportunity to get to some details and try to understand the principles being explained here. And if we try hard enough, I think we can follow. Any other comments in terms of how you want to hear it, or
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna?
So that it's the mention that Krishnadas Kaviraj has taken initiation directly from Nityananda Mahaprabhu, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So that at least I was not aware. I mean, I didn't know because we read and we
Yeah.
didn't listen.
Sure.
But so elevated, you can see that that is why he was associated with Raghunath Das Goswami, as you mentioned. He is a prayojan. That means Raghunath Goswami gives us pathway how to worship, right?
How to develop the love,
Yeah,
the
to
ultimate,
love, yeah,
the love of Krishna.
love of Krishna.
Rupa Goswami tells us how to worship. Abhideya.
Rupa Goswami Abhideya, yes.
Sanatana Goswami Sambandh. Who are we? Who's Krishna? What is our relationship?
Yeah. So we see he is not Krishna Kaviraj Goswami, getting directly instruction from the Lord himself, right? So it's not an ordinary position, and it's even though he shows his humility, and we see the instructions in this Chaitanya, so details are given. It's coming from him.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Correct.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you then. Mancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhya evacha pattanam pavanebhyo vaishnav.
Prabhuji, we will have class next week, right, Prabhu?
I'm sorry?
We will have class next week, right? Because 6th is Janmashtami, 7th is
Janmashtami is Wednesday.
Prabhupada's. Yeah, Thursday will be Prabhupada's.
Oh, that's right.
appearance day or
That's
something, no?
correct. That's
I
correct.
don't know if they have evening program, so at
Well,
the temple.
program or
so-
not, because very difficult to go to one large program and then come back and give class. So yeah, we probably postponed, rescheduled tomorrow, next week's class. Thank you for reminding me.
Okay.
So no class for Wednesday and Thursday.
Correct, Mataji. Correct.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank
Hare
you so
Krishna,
much.
Pitaji. Very
Hare
nice
Krishna.
class. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Hare
Nandini.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank you, everyone.
Krishna.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Sakhi Swarupa.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Isha, how are
Thank
you
you,
doing?
Prabhu.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you,
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna,
I'm good,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Thank you so much for asking. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Nice to see you always.
Not always. I mean, I try my best. It's just like sometimes, like those weird meetings come
No,
up.
no,
and
that's fine.
yeah.
Just so everybody knows, this is a work day for her. This is Friday for her. And sometimes she cancels client meetings. She isolates herself from others just to attend the class. So, I mean, it's not easy to do. I really appreciate what you do.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It's just, you kind of messaged me and reminded me, to be honest. And
Yes.
yeah, I kind of thought, took it as Krishna's message, and I'm just trying my best.
Yeah,
And
no,
yeah, let's see how well it goes.
yeah, I know you're
Thank
trying
you
your
so
best.
much.
I really appreciate that.
I mean, it's all yeah, your mercy and Krishna's mercy. I'm
Yeah.
literally doing nothing.
Thank you, Isha.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Have a
Thank you,
good one.
Prabhu.
Thank you, Beta.
Hare Krishna.
Yo, Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna,
Hare-
Gautam.
Prabhuji, one thing to share.
Ha, bolo.
Because I'm a grahast and I have family, so it is very tough right now for me to take diksha, and then with kids, and the husband is not supportive. They don't understand that I should be in bhakti. How should I go about it?
Okay, so can we do that private conversation? Because it takes some time.
Okay.
I think this should be a private conversation. And you can, not today, but tomorrow maybe you can give me a call
Okay.
and we can discuss. It will take some time. It's not a 5-minute discussion.
Okay. What time should I call you?
Tomorrow is Friday.
Yes.
So I go to the temple, do my service, and I come back by 3. So 4 o'clock my time, which is 1 o'clock your time. Tomorrow, if you want to give me a call, we can talk about this.
You said your time 4 o'clock?
My time 4 o'clock, your time 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so give me a call.
Okay, Prabhuji. Okay. Yeah.
Sure, no problem. Sure.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you again.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Take care.